Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Average Bloom or Isaac back here with another video. It's been a little bit since I posted an update or did anything. I'm not gonna lie, I've been pretty busy with life, figuring things out, taking the next steps into adulthood with like looking for a house and all of that fun jazz. Very stressful, but very cool. Um, Aside from that, I've also still been grinding Gundam, still been playing. I have won two more new types since my last video, so I'm now officially at double digits. I have now won 10 new type challenges, but more exciting than that, I also went to one of the store championship or like the store regionals, whatever you want to call them. And it was a 64 cap player one, so top four gets you an invite to NA finals. And not only did I get my invite, I got first place. I won. So I thought that it would be a good idea for me to do a video going over the deck that I played, the meta in general, honestly, since it's so fresh and so new with GD04 having just come out. My thoughts, anything that I would change, just generic stuff. This isn't going to be super formal. I'm not going to edit this very heavily, I don't think, so let's just get into it. So, you might be asking yourself, what was it that I was able to win the very first store championships? Because this was actually last weekend when I did this, not going to lie, I've been kind of busy. Um, well, it's with League Militaire, specifically an aggressive version of League Militaire. Make sure that everything is popping up proper. There we go. So this is the deck. This is the list. It all started by looking through some of the early like Eggman tournament deck lists that were doing well, and I saw the blue-white Norn Militaire deck with Zalote and all of that stuff. And I thought that that deck was pretty hot, and I started testing it and playing it, and I found very quickly that even though I was winning and it did feel good, there were certain things that I really didn't like about it. Specifically, I don't like the card Zalote. I think that card is bad. I think the only reason that card is like good, quote unquote, is because it is a League Militaire early drop, and so it helps you with hitting the thresholds that you need for certain things, like with victory and making sure that you have a League Militaire for V dash and for like when this baby victory dies and for the stuff like that. Aside from that, I actually am not impressed with that card. I don't think it's all that great. It can't kill the opponent. It dies to close combat. It trades with every single 1-drop 2/2 in the game. So it doesn't even, and like, yeah, I can trade up, but more often than not, it's actually just trading down or just isn't doing much of anything. It feels really bad. So the other thing that I really didn't like with the deck was because it was playing Zalote, it felt like it was really neutering its ability to be a strong, aggressive contender in this format. Cards like Victory Gundam and V Dash very explicitly want to be going in. Like, this effect doesn't happen unless you attack very explicitly, and then this is tapping down your opponent's dudes and has breach. Like, we're very aggressively slanted when we're looking at these sorts of payoff cards, but Zalote is not proactive in any fashion. It's very reactive. So I felt like the deck was doing this thing where it was a sheep in wolves clothing, where effectively you were acting as though you were this like scary aggro deck. You would be like, oh yeah, look at me, I'm attacking, I got all these bodies and stuff, and then your opponent would like take the mask off of you, and it's like, actually, I'm a mid-range control deck, I'm sorry. And then you pair into like the other mid-range control decks, and you can beat them, but if they get to like Neo Zhong or just certain things like that, we're not feeling good. Let's just put it that way. So I wanted to actually pressure the opponent. I want to make it so that when I'm saying I'm aggro and they try and pull the mask off, they realize very quickly that they're just tugging on my hair, and they are in danger actually, and I am going to kill them. So that's the big theory. I wanted to play the 1-drops. I wanted to cut Zalote. Was not a big fan of it. Just yeah, I'm not going to go much further into it. Just not a huge fan of the card. I don't think it's all that great. I do think that 1-drops are broken, though, if we're being completely honest. There's a reason why you're seeing these hyper aggro decks pop up where they're playing like 20, 24, 28 1-drops, and all they want to do is just play every single dude to the board and just attack and kill you. And it's working, and it's good. So 1-drops, very strong, very powerful, and I wanted to utilize that. The other thing about this is Norn might seem weird in an aggro deck. It's a level 7, 5 cost. It's only good if you're like linking it specifically. And I understand this. The thing about it, though, is if you really think about it and you read this card, you realize that Banshee Norn is actually best in an aggro deck. It is not really a control card. The reason for this is this card on attack, it's giving everything minus AP. It's wanting to just eat the entire board. It can untap multiple times, attack multiple times. That's its purpose. Well, unless you are very actively seeking out ways to tap down your opponent's board, it can be difficult to be able to get max value like you would want out of this if they're just playing around it. Granted, we do have things like V-Dash and we have Amuro and we're playing the gun easy and such, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we should always be relying on that in order to get max value out of this. The best way of forcing your opponent to tap their board or to tap their dudes is to make them answer your board. If you are pressuring them and threatening to kill them and you have a bunch of guys out there, in order for them to not die, they have to deal with your guys now. They have to be going in, they have to be attacking and swinging. Well, if they're going and attacking and swinging and tapping their dudes, now suddenly this guy gets to come in, poke their face, untap, and sweep their whole field. The other thing you've probably noticed is that every single card in the deck, aside from Rid, or Riddy, or whatever his name is, and Banshee Norn, are blue. So this thing, I've had multiple games where this thing can just activate like 4 or 5 times in a turn, and it's not even difficult. It's pretty gross. This wipes boards, can just constantly harass the opponent every single turn by just going attack your life, restand, pass, and that sometimes is good enough on its own, trust me. Yeah, I think that this deck felt really good. In order to make room for the 1-drops, we did cut the Zelote, but we also had to cut Overflowing Affection. That can be a little bit scary for some people. We are playing 11 pilots, and so it can be nice to be able to use those to help filter out any excess pilots that we get early on. However, the thing that makes this deck different from a lot of other high pilot count decks, like the Jupiter's deck that I was playing before that I was finding success with, we can just throw our pilots onto parts and it's totally fine. Obviously it's not ideal if we're putting a Rid on like a part, but there are a lot of times where I'll just put an Uso on a part, make a part, use that part with the Uso to trade with something, or you'll like Amuro tap something down. Like, you can get value out of your pilots because we're still just making dudes. Like, don't feel, it can feel bad, but don't be scared to put a pilot on your part token. Sometimes that is just the line, and it really is good enough to win the game. I can firmly confirm it is good enough, trust me. That is the one concession you do need to make with this deck, though, is that I don't think if you're wanting to have this type of an aggressive shell for League Militaire, I don't think that there is room for overflowing. Take that what you will. It didn't have any negative repercussions for me, and in most of my testing, this deck has felt very good and has not needed the overflowing, especially since we do have very solid ways to generate cards through obviously Show of Resolve, but Victory Gundam, this card is insane. I'm just gonna say it. This is like, I think, my personal favorite card from this new set. I think this card's crazy. This drawing one card consistently is very good, but the moment that this draws two, or God forbid, any more than two cards, it immediately becomes the best card in the entire game. A unit that can pressure life, kill opposing units, and draws you cards. Yeah, the instant that this thing draws you more than one card, it gets you a second card. It's just the best card in the game, I think. It's absurd. Like, imagine a Show of Resolve with legs that kills things. Like, yeah, I'm sorry. That's just broken. Aside from that, there's like the typical players that you would be expecting with Gundam Amuro, you know, sneaking its way into yet another blue deck. Who would have guessed? But it's especially good here since we have all of the part tokens, and so our part tokens go from 1 power to 2 power very quickly, and then just can start trading up very efficiently. Delta Plus also very impressive. This card is very, very good. The fact that we now have, in a sense, 6 Amuro links, where on turn 4 we can just be like, play Delta or play Gundam, play Amuro, tap down thing, eat thing, repair. That's really, really powerful. And I actually think that there is a very real world where we should have been playing this card back in like GD01, GD02, GD03 days. This card is really strong, and it's not just Rid that made it much better. Although this card definitely made it a lot better. The fact that you can make this into a 5/6 that can't be burned effectively and repairs every turn. I mean, if that didn't sound good to you, I don't know what does, because that's crazy to me. Yeah. The one kind of downside that we have with this deck, as you can kind of notice, is that if you're doing this type of an archetype, we don't really have a native level 5. You can play the Victory Hexa. Let me pop that open here for you. It is this one, the level 5 4 cost. It's a 4/4, links to any generic League Militaire, and while it's paired on attack, you get to deploy a parts. The thing is that I don't think that this is good enough. I don't think just making the parts token for this deck is, I mean, like, it's good, but it's not good enough, I don't think. There's nothing really that I'm wanting to cut in order to make room for this. Like, if you're cutting 1-drops, then you're really hindering your aggressive lining that you're wanting with this deck. And you don't want to be cutting any of the early League Militaire stuff. This card is untouchable. V-Dash is untouchable. Let me just really quickly, because I haven't actually touched on this card. Victory Gundam might be my favorite card. I think this is maybe the best card, not just from the set. This could be the new best card in the game. This card is fucking absurd. Actually absurd. This card in multiples is criminal. Oh my goodness. It is absurd. Every single turn, you can just use one of your parts or one of your little dudes or other its to just tap down their guys and start eating through. I cannot fully explain to you how powerful this card is and was for me the entire time I was playing it. Oh my goodness. This card is the best card in the deck. I think probably the best card in the set. It is insane that this is just a rare and this is not a legend rare. And it makes sense that this got an alt art, because holy shit. Pick up your copies of this rare while it's like under $1, because I could very easily see this being something that turns into the next like improved technique where it's like a $5 rare or some bullshit like that. I think this card's fucking crazy. That's pretty much the deck. Past that, as far as like how the tournament went, it was 6 rounds. I went 6-0. Round one, I played against League Militaire Blue White Mirror. However, they were not on the GM Hyzak package. They were playing like Zalote in the more traditional, quote unquote traditional version. Um, and it definitely showed because I ran them over. They played double Zalote and it didn't matter. I killed them, I think, on like turn 6 before they could even get to Norn. It felt very good. Round two, I played against a red-white deck, the red-white Neo Zhong deck, and I'll be honest, that didn't really feel like a game. At one point, my opponent had 6 cards in hand, had nothing on their field, and their cards in hand were 2 Neo Zhong, the level 8 G-Quux, and 3 pilots. So needless to say, I ran them over, and I felt kind of bad, honestly. They didn't really play the game. It was not what I was really wanting, but hey, sometimes that's Gundam, best of one, am I right? By the way, everyone, do surveys, say that you want best of 3, because God, best of 3 would be so good for this game. Uh, Round 3, I played against a red-white Providence deck, and again, it was just sort of the same situation. They were able to get to a Providence, but they weren't able to link it. And I just kind of ran them over. Was just able to aggro through gun easy, tap stuff, V-dash, tap stuff, Amuro, tap block. Just run them over. Round 4, I played against 1 Year War, and they went double 1-drop, and I was able to let me start over. They chose to go first. I with the EX resource on my turn 1, I played a 1-drop. They go double 1-drop, with one of them being the Zaku that I can attack for 3. My next turn, I play Gun EZ, tap the Zaku, eat it with my GM, and from that point on, the game is basically over. I was able to just like create very favorable exchanges and shuffles. The Shokubuing a 2/3, so like it eats a thing and then they still have to ping it, is really funny. Same with the Gun Easy, where this eats a thing and then they still have to ping it. It just, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of feel bad saying it, but I sort of ran them over. Yeah. This deck just felt really powerful, I'm not gonna lie, this deck's really good. Round 5 was the unfortunate homie round kill. I went up to this event with 4 other buddies, and at this point, all of us except for 2 were undefeated, and one of us had only lost to one of my other homies in the car. Anyway, so round 4 was the homie kill round against purple white impulse, like tempo aggro. By the way, that deck is really good. Unfortunately, they had a slow start. I had double 1-drop early, and I just kind of rushed them, ran them over. It felt a little bit bad, but hey, that's Gundam right now. And then final round was actually another homie kill round. One of my buddies who I came up with was the only other undefeated at that point. He was on red-white Neo Zhong, and again, I kind of just was able to get a really aggressive start. I think I got double V-dash at the end there and was able to just start tapping his guys. It was pretty good. I was able to get there. I was the 6-0, first place. My buddy in the last round who I played against with the red-white Neo Zhong, he got second place. And then my buddy who I played round 5, who I beat, got 5th. And then our other friend got 6th place. So 4 of the 5 of us in the car went X and 1 and only lost to other people in the car, which was sick. Unfortunately, our last homie, he got very unlucky. He ran into rush aggro decks 3 rounds and just got rushed aggroed. And I mean, again, it's best of 1. This is just kind of what life is. It feels really bad. There's nothing you can really do about it, though. Yeah, so I feel really bad there. It's unfortunate, but Aside from that, the entire car was able to just sweep this event. We kind of fucked it up real good. Felt really good. Um, as far as anything that I would change with this deck, if I'm being completely honest, no, not really. Um, okay, actually, correction. If you are expecting a lot of like the red purple hyper rush aggro deck that's been going around recently, playing like 24 one drops, or if you're expecting a lot of 1 year and stuff like that, one thing that you can do, and I've tested this out and this works, I promise you this works. um if you're worried about those matchups, you can trim a couple of the one drops for specifically more gun easies. This allows you to be able to get good early exchanges against their one drops, so that you're not just getting rushed down. You can initiate and force shuffles early on, and non-favorable shuffles for them as well. Um, that's the one thing. I was testing against the red purple deck with just the two gun easy, and I'm not gonna lie, we were kind of getting run over. But when I was testing it with four gun easy, immediately I was able to go stabilize, win the game. So that is something that you can do, that I would recommend if you are expecting a lot of fast like hyper rush decks. Aside from that, I'll be real, this deck felt incredibly good. It felt so strong. I was consistently linking. I was drawing cards. I was getting favorable exchanges. The Banshee Norn worked exactly as I wanted it to, where you're just this aggro deck, they have to deal with your board, and then suddenly turn 7 rolls by, they like answer most of your board, you slam this, link it, poke them, and then wipe their board, and they're like, well shit, now I have to deal with this thing. Yeah, it was great. Last thing I do want to talk about is just kind of the meta overall right now. It's still early, and so things can definitely change. I've seen some videos and some people, some like doom posts of people talking about how aggro is going to ruin everything, or it's all aggro, and and I do think that there is some truth to this. I will agree. I do think that aggro is very strong right now. I will say, I think that aggro has been strong the entire time that it's been around. And part of that is also because it is a new game. It's a new format right now, too, with the new set. And in every single card game that I have ever played, whenever like a new set or a new like big thing drops, early on, the first couple of weeks, aggro and hyper rush typically do the best, because they're usually the most, maybe not solved, but the most overall competent and consistent things that people have. Because it's like, even aggro hyper rushes bad draws or like mid draws can still just put a lot of decks into a fucking hole. And that's just what reality is. Do I think that Bondi should do something about it? Probably. I'm not super worried about it, though, if I'm being completely honest. This set really showed me that they know how to design in the future for this game. Us getting more archetypal decks and like deck building tools and things, I think is awesome. That's the type of thing that I like being rewarded and incentivizing people to go into like whole archetypes. We're starting to actually get past the days of like you just jam the best cards of a color with the best cards of another color together, and that's the deck. You can still obviously do that and be successful, but we're now getting more rewarding benefits and temptations, I guess you could say, to do these more archetypal kind of decks. Yeah, that's I hope that made sense. That's what I think with that. I do think that as more time passes and people start to figure out how to build decks proper or what numbers should be um, for, or like what ratios should be for certain cards. I do think that this meta is going to change. I don't think that aggro is going to be as big of an issue as people are making it out to be right now, if I'm being completely honest. And my early read right now is, even though aggro is seeming as good, I actually think that the best deck of this format very well could wind up being Neo-Zhong, believe it or not. You might think I was going to say this deck, and I mean, there's a chance. There's a chance that something like this, or this League Militaire, like Norn package or something, could end up being the best thing in the format. But my early read and playtesting with my friends and talking with them, the guys that I went up to this event with, I have a sneaking suspicion that Red White Neo Zhong is overall going to be the best deck in this format. It has a lot of answers to be able to play through and stabilize against aggro. It is kind of the mid-range and control killer, because like the moment you hit into Neo Zhong, the game is just fucking over. The entire game warps entirely around that card the moment it hits level 9. When you hit level 9 and you play it, it's nothing else matters except Neo Zhong. So I think that once people really get the hang of what ratios should be and how to build their decks and what to be expecting and stuff, I think that actually is gonna turn out to be the best deck. I could be wrong, and I would love to be wrong, actually, if I'm being totally honest. I would love for the actual best deck to be my deck, wouldn't you know? But I have a sneaking suspicion that Neo Zhong is really, really good, and is going to be here to stay. That's just my read on it. I don't know. It is a level 9. You can kill him beforehand, but blockers, close combat, sword strike, graceful demeanor, all of these like really powerful tools that we have, that we already had, and that we have now gotten as well. Yeah, I feel like that's just my read. I don't know. I could be wrong, like I said, but that's just my feeling. Yeah, I just wanted to do a quick video. I say quick, this is probably gonna be like a half an hour or something like that. But I just wanted to do a video going over my thoughts, going over the list, put this out there. I'm probably gonna do another in-person video with my buddy, and going over this deck again, and then going over their deck that they got second place with, their red-white Neo Zhong deck. I don't know when we'll do that, but hopefully we're planning on doing that before, but I'm not gonna lie, I kind of messed that up. That's my fault. Sorry about that. But hey, it is what it is. Thanks for watching the video. Thanks for being here. Appreciate all of you. Best of luck in your games, in your tournaments. I hope that every one of you are able to win a Newtype, win a store regional championship, whatever you want to call it. Get an invite to nationals, get an invite to worlds, do whatever it is that you're wanting. Get a Costco chicken. I don't care, man. Live your life, live your dream, do your thing. Appreciate y'all. Peace.